Coming up on Guys Talking Sports, we're talking about the NBA. We talk about Mark Cuban and his comments that he made about Russell Westbrook. We also talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers and the rest of the NBA Eastern Conference. We also talk about Golden State in the Western Conference. My co-host Adrian Catwell joins me right now, and that's on Guys Talking Sports. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Guys Talking Sports, and welcome to another edition of Guys Talking Sports. I'm one of the co-hosts, Quarles. With me, I got the other co-host with me, Adrian Catwell. What's going on, man? Ace, how's everything?
Everything's gravy, man. Another day in paradise.
Yeah, man. Yeah, another day in paradise indeed. We're just going to get started. Really not much to talk about as far as the NBA. I mean, as far as the sports world is going on. So we're just going to just talk about anything at this point. I guess we should start with one of the conversations, and this is one of the things, the news that I just mentioned to you in regards to Mark Cuban. Right now, the Dallas Mavericks played the OKC Thunder, and every time Mark Cuban said, people ask him about Russell Westbrook, he considers him not being a true superstar, but a very good player. Russell Westbrook is averaging a triple-double. He'll probably be one of the first, if he can, if the rest of the season plays out, when he could actually be the first to average a triple-double in a season. So with all that being said and how his team is playing right now, they're currently 7th in the West. Do you consider Russell Westbrook an actual NBA superstar?
Yeah. Top 5 player. I mean, I think he showed that he was a superstar. I think it was 2 seasons ago when Durant went down and he had to carry the team. And I think he carried them into the playoffs until Durant was able to get back. I mean, they didn't do too well when they got to the playoffs, but Russell Westbrook, yeah, I mean, he shows that he's a dominant player. He's a great player. He shows that he's active on the boards. He can drop 10 assists, 15 assists a game, give you 40. I mean, I don't know what more he has to prove to be considered elite. He's carrying Oklahoma City on his back into the playoffs, even if they're going into the 7th seed. So I think Cuban just might be a little jealous because he made some moves. His superstar is aging. Dirk isn't the player that he once was, and he doesn't have a true, definite superstar in his squad. So, why not, pull somebody down? If you don't have what you have, if you don't have one, why give props to somebody else, even though he is a bona fide star?
Yeah, no, but I completely agree with that. I think Russell Westbrook is definitely a true NBA superstar, especially in this league, the way things are. I mean, he's one of the most popular players in the NBA right now. But definitely in the league. Oh, go ahead.
But I was just saying, but think about this. Think about when Oklahoma City had Durant, Harden, and Westbrook. And think about how all 3 of them now, not so much Durant, because Durant doesn't need to be that superstar. Even though he is a superstar with Golden State, he doesn't have to be that 25, 27 a night, 30 a night game, to help carry a squad like he was in Oklahoma City. But you got 3 dynamic players that play 3 different positions. Well, two different positions. But depending, they probably could have made it work where Westbrook, Durant, and Harden could all have been playing in starting 5. You could put Westbrook at the 1, Harden at the 2, and Durant at the 3. You talking about they should be having multiple dynasties at this point. But I mean, Cuban is ridiculous. I mean, to have him actually come out his mouth and say that, it's almost laughable.
No, but and that's what makes this so funny. It's funny that you brought that up because if you can imagine all 3 of them on the same team, and if OKC management, they really dropped the ball on this because even the trade when they traded Harden, that was really they really didn't get much in return for that. And they really didn't let Harden be Harden at the time because, of course, you had Westbrook and you had Durant. But I'm pretty sure the fans are not too thrilled with how that came about, especially with the Harden trade. Then to let Durant go for virtually getting nothing in return. And he went, in free agency. So I will say this, they did what they could to make amends at the trade deadline, but I don't think it's enough. But neither here nor there, Russell Westbrook is definitely a true superstar. Mark Cuban, what he does, I understand what he's saying, but he should also understand that when he says this sometimes, especially when you when you talk about an NBA player, you have to also understand that, you're the owner of the NBA, of the Dallas Mavericks. But more so that, you're trying to bring in NBA players to your team. So how is it that you're going to convince NBA players, when you're talking bad about a couple of NBA players to begin with? When you say that he's not a true superstar, what that does is that you really think Russell Westbrook is going to be like, well, I'm going to look at the Dallas Mavericks when I'm a free agent. Right. So, you have to, I understand that Mark Cuban is vocal about the things about what he says. Sometimes he's vocal about referees and all that. But when it comes to players, you got to have the mindset to be like, I really don't want to say anything about somebody because I would want them on my team. So I'm wondering if Mark Cuban is saying that Russell Westbrook is not a good enough player for him to be on the Dallas Mavericks. I'm pretty sure if Russell Westbrook had a decision to either stay in Dallas or go to stay in OKC or go to Dallas, you would think that Mark Cuban would do anything in his power to convince him to come down.
Of course he would.
So, yeah. So it's amazing that, and it's amazing that owners nowadays, does that, because not only Mark Cuban does it. There's a couple of owners head management that does things like that, not knowing that you're actually hurting not just your reputation, but your reputation to recruit free agents to come to your team. Case in point, Phil Jackson in the New York Knicks. So, those type of things, you have to be, it's very, you can be critical, but that's something you should keep at least private to yourself. Once you make it public, you're risking, free agents that you're trying to attract. You're risking them trying to, convincing them to come to play for your team.
I agree. And trust me, Russell, he ain't caring. He's just letting that run off his shoulders. I believe, I have trust in Oklahoma City that they're going to do what they need to do to get the players around Russell Westbrook to make them a contender. Because as long as KD is not with Oklahoma City, whatever team that KD goes to, I guarantee Oklahoma is trying to do their very best to make sure that they slap the dirt out of his mouth, because they think they did him dirty. They think KD did Oklahoma City dirty, but it's obvious that the two of them aren't friends. Let's putting it lightly. I thought that I think I saw a clip during All-Star weekend where Russell Westbrook was talking to somebody and KD kind of walked by and neither one of them even acknowledged each other as they were walking by. But I guess in the game, it's just a game. They do what they need to do in a game. But, who's to say that they're not cool? Who's to say that they don't speak? But I guess that's all the part of the drama and the suspense of what they call the NBA. It's no different than all the drama and all the BS that goes on in the NFL. But the only difference is between the NBA and the NFL, the pool of players is so much smaller in the NBA. So for Cuban, again, this to come out of his mouth to say that Russell Westbrook is not a star, that's just asinine. That's really bananas. And because like you said, if Russell Westbrook opt out of his contract at the end of the season and said, you know what, I want to play for a different team. Mark Cuban would be lined up with dollars in his hands, throwing it at Russell, talking about come to Dallas and win me another championship. Point blank. So, he just needs to shut up.
Yeah, no, I agree with that in a nutshell. He definitely needs to. That's something that owners doesn't really need to be vocal when it comes to stuff like that. As a matter of fact, owners, team presidents, general managers, they don't really need to be vocal about stuff like that. You just need to just stick to just doing the business and the day-to-day operations, and they should be fine. I mean, you have to build a culture, and I hate to keep bringing back up the Knicks at this point because right now they're in a culture where it's going downward. You could see it. Like, what makes it so interesting is the fact that, if people were like, if presidents and presidents and upper management would just let coaches do their jobs, it would be so much easier. And same thing goes with owners. Like, if you let the general manager be the general manager, if you let the team president just stick to the team president, the president stuff, the operations, and just let the coach handle all the coaching, it would be so much easier. But there's always so much politics behind it, and owners want to become coaches now, and GMs want to vie for. It's amazing. Coaches want to be GMs. They want to be the president and coach of teams now. You have that now. It's so crazy now. It'd be so much easier and it'd be so much of a better structure if everybody was assigned a specific role and just stick to the role. You can't have a coach be a president of the operations or a GM at the same time, because you see it in history shows that coaches doesn't make the best GMs during the time, or vice versa.
Right. I mean, just like with any job, if you wear multiple hats, when do you have time to concentrate on just one particular thing? When you're a coach, you got to coach, and you got to be a leader of grown men, even though you're a grown man yourself. GM, when you're GM and player personnel, you're out there scouting, seeing what's going on. I mean, how can you focus on the next game when you're sitting there trying to figure out who can I tinker to pick up off a free agency to get rid of this guy because of X? Let the GM be the GM, you coach, and then you have daily or weekly meetings to get caught up to speed about what's going on. But Cuban to me is, Cuban and Jerry Jones is almost alike. The only difference is Cuban doesn't do player personnel or doesn't have that GM role on his hat. He actually has a general manager. But unlike Jerry Jones, Jerry Jones is owner / GM, where he has to have his hand on everything. But I think maybe it's just what's in the water as the owner in Dallas. Because why they feel as though they can speak their mind, say what they want to say, and think that just because they say it, everything is all right. Because it's Jerry Jones and it's America's team, Dallas Cowboys, regardless of what he thinks or what he says about somebody's always going to be interested in wanting to come to play for Dallas, the Cowboys. That might be the case, but that's not always the case when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks. You got players who would rather go to San Antonio before they go to Dallas. They would rather go to Houston before they go to Dallas. Heck, they may rather go to OKC before they go to Dallas. So again, Cuban needs to kind of, if you want to talk politics because you're an owner, so be it. Speak your mind. You want to talk what's trendy, and business and business savvy, speak your mind. If you want to sit there and say Russell Westbrook is an IA player, then speaking your mind might get you in a world of hurt, because Russell ain't never going to come to Dallas now. Because trust me, I know he hears these things. He act like it don't mean nothing, but guarantee if they came a calling, he'd be like, nah, just remember I ain't a superstar. So makes no sense for me to come there.
Yeah, that would be very awkward. That would be very awkward if Mark Cuban tries to get a meeting with Russell Westbrook in free agency. That would probably be more awkward than anything. And I would love to be a fly on the wall if that was the case. If they two met, for a conversation, hey, look, like, hey, Russell, hey, Russ, I just want to let you know that, I wasn't, I was just kidding about that not being a true superstar, I think you two are really a bona fide superstar. I think you would make a great addition to the team. Russell be sitting there like,
do that one meme he got when he looking like.
Exactly.
Like, whatever.
Exactly.
He was like,
yeah.
Then they'll pull out a smartphone and be like, so what's this all about? You meant this.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly one point. No, but it's amazing how things are. And to be honest, agents are, free agents and their agents are watching. They are watching how this whole season plays out. And, that's just, you could try and talk to your blue in the face, but you have to be in a good position to lure free agency. And to be honest, there's always going to be a difference, especially in the amount of free agents that you look at.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like teams, like great teams like Cleveland and Golden State, they're not going to have young pieces. They're going to be attracting like free agents that have experience is going to want to go to Cleveland. Of course, free agents that are chasing the ring, of course, is going to want to go to Cleveland, i.e. Darren Williams and Andrew Bogut, which is still unfortunate for Bogut for him to play only like a minute, no less than a minute or two into the game, and then to be out with a season in the injury. I've kind of felt bad for him because you would want him to get at least a little bit of revenge going in if Cleveland was to play Golden State in the NBA Finals.
Right.
We definitely would have wanted to see how, I could definitely see him going all in for that. But it's still unfortunate for him. Cleveland right now, I don't really want. Cleveland right now is like they like you said earlier, like we talked about earlier. You're right. They do have they do have some problems that they need to resolve.
Yeah, injuries hit them hard. J.R. Smith going down, Kevin Love going down, Bogut going down, trying to get chemistry together with new players, Darren Williams, and I saw some other cat there, some cat with dreads or braids. I don't even know.
Oh, Darren Williams.
Yeah, I don't even know when the heck he popped up. But, it's like they got different players out there now, and I guess they're trying to fill themselves out. I ain't worried about Cleveland. They're no different than Miami when they're in the cruise control, and they're not even so much concerned about what's going on in the regular season. As long as they maintain the top spot, I don't think they're going to relinquish the top spot. I don't think LeBron and Kyrie is going to let that happen, personally. And you can see that I guess what happened in the game the other night when that one cat dunked on somebody and then smacked one of the Cleveland players on the back and J.R. Smith was ready. Like, you can see J.R. Smith is itching. Like, he wants back in. I'm not saying he's a difference maker. He never really was. He hit some critical shots. He definitely knocks down some threes, but Cleveland ain't been whole in a long time, and they still managed to plug away. They still managed to go on these little win streaks, whatever. I think they'll be fine. I think come playoff time, they're going to be ready. If they get Kevin Love back, that'll be even a bonus. They'll. It may seem kind of crazy, and I know there's a thing called, you need to get in game shape. I think that Kevin Love being out, getting some rest, I'm not sure of his injury. J.R. Smith, I'm not even sure what his injury is. I think he had a knee injury as well. But their legs are getting some rest. So, yeah, they're going to be out of shape a little bit. But come playoff time, they'll know how to win. I'm not saying they're going to win at all, because Golden State ain't the same Golden State without KD. They gave up a hell of a lot to get KD. Their bench is not going to propel them. You know what I mean? It's not like the bench of old when you still have Bogut sitting on the bench. You had some other key players that could come on and do whatever. So if KD don't come back, there's no guarantee that Cleveland nor Golden State is going to make it to the finals, which will be great because I'm sick and tired. I don't want to see round 3 of that. Though ultimately, if NBA gods have it their way, that's what it's going to be. But that would make for some dynamic, interesting, quality playoff basketball if both of them got bounced. It'll be interesting, And then Golden State will say, KD going down and blah, blah, blah. That's the reason why we didn't come back. And LeBron's going to sit there and say, well, injuries, Bogut, all this. And they'll make their excuses for next year, and then they'll come back ready for war next year because they're going to say, well, we're going to make it the last 3 or 4 years that Cleveland and Golden State's going to show up. So, I mean, if I had to guess, I would still say it's Cleveland, Golden State, but it would be kind of cool if somebody else kind of showed up, but we'll see.
I'm all right. First of all, I would like to say that I've been saying that for the longest time in regards to wanting somebody else to be in the finals. So I thank you for agreeing with me. But before I get into that, that thing with J.R. Smith, I understood the reasoning on why he was upset, but I can understand both ways. All right, Cleveland's getting beat easily handled by Miami. Mm-hmm. Rookie made a rookie mistake, Duncan. It happens. Okay, you can't. But you getting upset when you're in street clothes doesn't really do anything for me. If he was playing, that may be different because but you getting in street clothes, you're not helping the situation. And to be honest, I can't be even upset with the rookie because it's a rookie mistake. Rookies do that. They make a mistake, okay? They broke the code, okay? For him to dunk over somebody with over, a certain amount of time left. It happens, all right? I can't get mad at him, all right? But the whole thing about the outbursts going, KG said something to me. KG said something that kind of hits home. If somebody is coming at you and they doing something like that, the best thing you could do is to stop them. Like, you talking about it after the game, what does that really accomplish? You know what I'm saying? And if anybody was to talk to the rookie, he could have easily let one of the Miami Heat players know, hey, talk to your boy. I think that was, but to get upset about it and, wanting to fight, and to be honest with, between that and Dion Waiters, Dion Waiters, that was just, he was just eating that up, especially being in Cleveland, having them force you, you get traded, end up going to another team, and then to come back on Miami and to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers twice. I know Dion Waiters was happy, and to me, it just felt as though that it was too much. It was a little too much for me. But I completely agree with you in regards to the Cleveland, Golden State. I know, like you said, the NBA people want to see that. I can understand that. But to be honest, I can understand it being because they've been in the finals twice. So I guess they want to do, one more round for the end-all be-all. I'll even let that slide. But truth be told, I'm tired of seeing Cleveland. To be honest, I'm going to even take it a step further. I'm tired of seeing LeBron James in the finals. And I really want a team out of the East to be more of a challenge for Cleveland or whatever team LeBron is in. It seems like there is no 7-game series in the East when it comes to LeBron James, whether he's in Miami or whether he's in Cleveland. I would like to see an actual Game 7 from an Eastern Conference team. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see someone take LeBron James to the limit. And as many times as he's been in the NBA Finals, I'd rather have a team that gives me hope to say, hey, look, we're going to challenge Cleveland and we're going to beat Cleveland. And to be honest, that's why I root for the other teams, because I would rather see. I wouldn't mind seeing a Toronto or a Washington in the finals. I really don't have much hope on Boston yet, because to me, Boston reminds me so much of Atlanta. And if Boston gets into a 7-game series with Cleveland, I could easily see them sweeping Boston. That's just my opinion. I'm sorry. A team without Horford in it, I'm not too sold on against Cleveland. But I do think that Washington gives them, and Toronto, when Kyle Lowry comes back. I see Toronto and I see Washington as the teams that'll give Cleveland the best shot. And I really hope I see them either one of them in the finals gives them a really good run, because Toronto doing what they did in the trade deadline helps them. Same thing with Washington. I really believe those two teams did enough to give Cleveland a run for their money. And to be honest, I'm still not sold on Golden State. I really believe that San Antonio gives them a complete run for their money. And to be honest, if I'm really calling it, the 4 teams out of the West, whether it's San Antonio, whether it's Houston, and Utah, do not sleep on Utah. Those 3 teams can give Golden State a run for their money. That's all I see. So I really hope that it's more competitive than it was the past 2 seasons. I really hope that it becomes an end-all be-all.
All right, just to touch back on the J.R. Smith thing briefly.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what you're saying. I understand rookie mistakes. I understand J.R. Smith being in street clothes. But maybe, just maybe, that was the spark or the lack of intensity that Cleveland hasn't had, that maybe J.R. Smith took to, use that as an advantage to get Cleveland's fired up. I mean, right now they're in such I don't even know what type of mode you would consider them to be in. I mean, injuries are mounting up. Tyronn Lue is not playing. Kyrie and LeBron in certain games. I mean, bottom line is, if it takes J.R. Smith to be in street clothes to get fired up over something where the player who got smacked on the back should have been like, what the heck is that about? To try to get fired up, well, then so be it. And maybe that's the closed door conversation now with Cleveland to be soul searching and say, okay, I don't know about y'all, but I ain't come here to kind of lackadaisically go through the regular season, which we all know that's what they're doing, to get to the playoffs to then turn it up a notch. We got to turn it up now, because if we don't turn it up now, we're going to get ousted in the playoffs. So maybe that was a ploy from J.R. Smith. Maybe not. Maybe he just really took offense to what happened. Whatever. Yes.
No, now, I agree with you. Now, if that is the case, then that's definitely work, because they are back to their winning. Well, couldn't say winning ways right now, but it could be something that they definitely need. So, and to be honest, I will say this. If it was J.R. Smith of the New York Knicks saying this, I would be all up grilling on him. Like, you don't have a leg to stand on. But I do admit, ever since he came to Cleveland, he's been a different J.R. Smith. Like, there's been no antics or anything going crazy. So I'll tell you what, I respect that, because he's definitely acted a lot better since he went to Cleveland. And it's definitely showed in his game as well, where he's still doing what he normally does. So I'll give you that. I will give you that. I'll concede to that.
As far as the playoffs, yeah, I mean, look, bottom line is everybody knows the Eastern Conference is weak. You got the top 3, possibly 4 teams, and then everybody else after that is this whatever. The West, and it's been the West, has been loaded for years now. It's always been Dwayne Wade, LeBron James in the East versus whoever else, everybody else in the West. When, you know, and until some semblance of balance comes back to the East, which is kind of getting there. You got the Washington, Boston, Toronto, Miami seems like they're trying to get legit. Milwaukee seems like they want to get there, but injuries just keep hitting them too tough. You know what I mean? But they're like a piece away. Who else? Oh, gosh, I don't know. But yeah, the East is this weak. I mean, there's no other way. There's no other way to get it. And you can't fault LeBron for that. You can't. It is what it is. You know, if you put Cleveland in the West, does Cleveland come out of the West? I don't think so. I don't think so. But you got Cleveland in the East. You got a 90% chance that Cleveland will come out of the East every year. As long as LeBron is healthy and playing top of his game, and he has a supporting cast and doing whatever, why would you bet against Cleveland? That's about a safer bet that you're going to ever have. You know, so I don't know. The West is the West. The West is always going to be strong. I don't see the West changing unless you see a major shift of players leave the West to come East. I don't see that happening. You know, I see a lot of the East teams trying to get that homegrown talent and bring it up, whereas it seems as though the Stars, not everybody, but, you know, Golden State had some homegrown. They had the dynamic backcourt, and Green came across. So it's not like they went out there and did something crazy. They just had some older free agents come in, and the pieces just came together. Same with LA. I mean, as long as the Lakers are going to be the Lakers, they're going to get people. So the Lakers next year are going to get somebody. Matter of fact, I thought I read something where Paul George is like, you might as well make me a Laker now because that's where he wants to be.
Yeah, no, there was talks in regards to, I mean, because that's why a lot of people were saying, why would you trade for Paul George, especially the Lakers, when all signs indicate that he wants to play in LA. It's definitely, because I know Boston wanted to make that move as well, but
that would have been sick. I think that would have put them over the top, where I think they would have had a pretty darn good opportunity to knock off Cleveland, because Isaiah Thomas is a man possessed right now, man. That dude is nice.
Yeah, no, to be honest, Isaiah Thomas, to me, it's unfortunate that he doesn't have more help than he has, because, like you said, he's one piece. Like, that team is really literally one piece away.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this. I know that they was trying to get Jimmy Butler. They was looking at Jimmy Butler, looking at Paul George. I think that was it. Do not be surprised if they end up getting Gordon Hayward in Boston as a free agent. And I will say this: if they do that, they will be more of a legit contender for the Eastern Conference. But that's neither here nor there. Because we could talk about. Let me ask you one more question before we go. With the NBA being the way it is now, constructed, what do you think? I guess my question is going to be two-fold question. Is there anything that you would change? Let's say, for example, if you was the commissioner, the NBA commissioner, and you're looking at what's been going on lately, is there anything that you would change in the NBA as you see today?
I mean, basketball is at all-time high. I guess the only thing that you would change is the All-Star game. I mean, but all sports, like we talked about in our last episode, all sports is having a hard time trying to understand what to make their All-Star games better. and what can they do to make it more competitive. And, I don't know. I mean, I think I read somewhere that some of the players are speaking out. I thought it was Kyrie that came out there and said that, he would hope that moving forward that the game is a little bit more competitive. When you got players just running up and down the floor, just shooting threes and doing whatever, I don't know how you would how you can make things a little bit more interesting. I mean, baseball, like we said last episode, baseball tried to make it more interesting where they made it so that whatever the East or the West or wins the All-Star game has home court advantage in the championship. I personally like that. I personally like it because even though you may be playing for the lowly Brooklyn Nets, but as the Brooklyn Nets, you still have love for the Eastern Conference. You want to see the Eastern Conference do well. You would want to play so that your conference is represented as the home team to win, to host the first game of that championship series. I don't know how the NBA could do something like that. I mean, you could pay them money out the wazoo. Will that make them play any harder? Not necessarily. I mean, nobody wants to risk injury. But who says that somebody can't rupture their Achilles tendon just dribbling the ball up the court? So, I mean, I really don't know how they can make it better unless – here's an idea. Now, this is – I don't even think this is a feasible idea because, what I'm thinking, maybe you take All-Star Weekend, you take the NBA's best players versus the best of the world. And then give it world bragging rights. Because the all-stars of the rest of the world are going to try to bring it to the NBA. And the team can only be represented. You can only have 12 players on the team, so you're going to pick your 12 best. The world is going to pick their 12 best, and then the All-Star Weekend, you go at it. You battle. You have 8-minute quarters, 10-minute quarters, whatever, and you battle. And the last thing any NBA player wants to be recognized as the team that couldn't beat the world's best when you're considered the very best in the world as the NBA. Think about those Olympic teams that had those all-stars that was barely winning bronze medals. And what did America do? They couldn't stand for that crap no more. So they went and recruited the best players ever. So why not? I see that as more compelling and more interesting.
All right, number one, don't talk about my Nets. Number two, no, I hear what you're saying. I mean, that would be something that I brought that question up because it just dawned on me the fact that what can we do to make like any sport better? Like if we was given the opportunity, what can we do to make that sport better, more engaging? I think what you mentioned is a great idea. The question I guess that would be, will it be enough to make it more engaging? Like it's funny because the reason why I said it because like I remember I just saw a clip of when Larry Bird was in a 3-point shooting contest, and he was very competitive in that regard, where he was telling people, "Yo, the trophy is mine. Don't even, it's mine. Period. Who's coming in second? Like those type of things. Like he was just letting them know that I'm straight seriously going for it. And right now we're in a league where there's so many friends that it's not that serious anymore. Back in the day, I guess it was more competitive, and people was like, yo, I'm trying to show my skills, let people know that what it is, and it's unfortunate. So trying to get like the players together to try to come up with ideas won't really work if everybody's in collaboration with each other. So,
well, I mean that's the difference between 80s and early 90s, mid 90s basketball versus what you see today. Back then, teams hated each other. You know, Detroit didn't care for nobody. New York with the bad boys, you know, they didn't care. Oakland, man, you can't tell me nothing about my Knicks from back when we was in high school, man, when they had the Broad Street Bullies just going up there, Mason, Oakley, all them jokes. They're straight up thugs on the court. You know what I mean? But I don't know, dude. Jokers. Is there? I really wish I had I really wish I had something to say about it. I mean, they love the game, but nobody has that kill or be killed attitude out there. It seems like to me. You know?
Well, no. I do say this. I will say this. Russell Westbrook to me is probably the only one that has that killer mentality, and that's one of the reasons why I respect what he does. He definitely has that. If you bounce, and that's why I was thinking that in regards to when you were saying about him and KD, like it's like, yo, I'm only good with my teammates. If you're not there anymore, I'm not gonna be cool with you, especially if you bounce from me. So, like, I still think that he has that killer mentality. To be honest, I think he's the only one that has that killer mentality and that mindset from back in the day. But it's unfortunate that you have people that are so tight knit that they're it's just how it is. Like we talk about how with LeBron James and him and his crew with Chris Paul and Carmelo Anthony and the Banana Boat crew. They're like that's how tight knit they are. So it's you still see that. Hopefully the young people the young kids that come in, the rookies that come in, establish a different attitude than what they're seeing now. They'll probably bring something different in the next couple of years where we're saying it's good that they have it in the NBA. So hopefully they do something to change that mindset up a little bit. So, but we really been talking a lot when I didn't really think that we was gonna be talking this much. I was trying to keep it simple and quick to the point, but I guess we're gonna end it here. I'd like to thank everybody for watching Guys Talking Sports. Ace, man, let them know where they can reach you at.
You can find me on Twitter, Adrian Cat, ADRIAN CAT 1963 on Twitter.
And of course, you can find me at I am Al Quarles. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram as well. Definitely reach out. Also, reach out. Comment on the YouTube section. Comment anywhere that you can. Let us know what you think. We really appreciate all the feedback. We're working on some things as well to progress and move forward. But for now, I'd like to thank everybody for checking us out. Again, you can get Guys Talking Sports. Most likely we'll do another one next week, and we're definitely going to do another one next week in regards to the March Madness coming up. We're going to have a whole talk about March Madness and make our predictions as well. But for now, I'd like to thank you guys for checking us out. And until next time, you guys take care.
And watch out for my floating UFO.